Okay, so in this video, we're going to be talking about the alignment group of the Home tab. Okay, so in the alignment group, it deals with our text orientation and our text alignment. Okay, so right now we have a few different icons here. You would notice that they look similar, but they're actually different if you look close enough. Okay, they all mean something different. So for example, if I was to click on text, it helps with our alignment of our text. So if I was to click on a cell like this one right now, we can look here and we can see that it's highlighted gray, so that means that it's selected in center. But what if I wanted the text to be more so flush left? I can go to this feature right here, put your mouse on it, and it'll tell you what it is, and I can click align left, and it will carry me over to the left. The same if I wanted it to the right. I can click align right, and it will carry me over to the right. Okay, and then if I want it back in the center, I can click center again. Okay, so that is our alignment features for these three right here. Now let's take a look at these ones up here. Okay, and these I would say work much better when you have adjusted your rows. So let's say if I adjust my row and the row is very large, some people may look at this and be like, oh, that just doesn't look right, you know? Some people want things to be very precise, and then also, it's good presentation if you could make your work look as attractive as possible. So for example, just a small example, let's say you want it to be a bit more midline. So you can click this right here, and this is to your middle align. Okay, so you see now it's a bit more balanced. Okay, if you want it more to the top, you can click the top align, and if you want it more to the bottom, like we saw earlier, you can click bottom align. Okay, so if I was to click middle align again, it looks a bit more balanced now, despite the row size or length. Okay, so that's how those alignment features work. So let me just carry the row back up. Good, so that's those features right there. Now if we look here, if we go furthermore to our right here, we have our increase and our decrease indentation. So for example, let's say you want to have your work indented to a certain point. You can click, sorry, that's decrease, I believe. You will click, oh, that's increase. It went the other way first. So if you want that to happen, you can increase your indent and it will carry you as far as you can go. Notice it begins to shrink after a while because you've reached the limit to the end. And if you want to decrease your indentation, you can do that as well and carry it all the way back. Once again, take note, this is Microsoft showing a different way to do things again. So, isn't this similar to these features right here? How? Because if I use these features, I can use this where I can indent my text or my numbers or whatever I have in my spreadsheet to the middle. You see the same way how I can click my center align. And then if I want it more so to the left, I can do that and it will be aligned to the left. And then if I want it increased again to the right, I can do that and it's now aligned right. So this is once again Microsoft software showing how there's so many different ways to do something. You see, and that's the beauty of it. Okay, now if we go up here, this is our our orientation feature, sorry. And so when we say that, we mean you can change the positioning of how you want your text to be. Okay, so right here, they're giving you different ways in which you can change your orientation. Okay, let me just fix that back. Okay, had to get it back to where it needed to be. Okay, so right here you can change your orientation. You can, and if you take a look at those icons, each of them have a different arrow, so it's going to show you which way it's going to carry it. So we have angle counterclockwise, angle clockwise, vertical, rotate text up, rotate text down. Okay, so let's say I want to do it counterclockwise. I can do it like that. Now notice it's small. That's because it's shrinking to fit. We'll see more about that shortly. So as I expanded the row, it just opened it up for me. Okay, and if I wanted another way, I can do it like that. That's angle clockwise, and then vertical text. I can do it that way. Once again, it's shrinking to fit, but you can't see it too well unless you expand that row. Okay, so that's how it would look. If I want to carry it back, there we go. I keep clicking counterclockwise until I get it back to normal. So that's just how you can change your orientation, make it all your text or whatever it is you're working on your spreadsheet in all sorts of different directions. Sometimes it's good for, I'd say, headers and stuff like that. It adds some creativity to your spreadsheet, makes certain things stand out. Okay, and then if we go right here, this is our wrap text feature. So how does that work? Let's say that I have a sentence within one cell. So if I say apple pie is awesome, and I click away, it's shrinking to fit automatically. Let me just unclick shrink to fit. I had it selected. I'll show you guys how it works though. Okay, so right here I have apple pie is awesome, but as you can see, because it is too long to fit within this cell, it's going outside of the boundary. So if I wanted to stay within the boundary, I would click on that cell and I'll click wrap text. When I do that, it will wrap it. Okay, and so after it's now wrapped, all you need to do is make sure that you expand your row or your column so that it shows clearly. But the wrap text feature is basically to help you keep it within your cell or your boundary. Okay, so that's what they mean by wrapping your text. Okay, now if I was to do that and make my column smaller, and I decide, okay, well, I don't want to enlarge it, so let's say I want to make the text smaller or so. What you can do is that you can click shrink text to fit. What I did was deselect wrap text so that everything will come off, and then I'll click shrink text to fit. And so I shrank the text so that it can fit within the cell. It's kind of difficult to see if you don't really zoom in. But that is one way how you can get certain things to fit. So it works best when I guess you have like, for example, let's say you have two columns here like this, and you just don't want to expand your row a bit more. You want things to still look a bit uniform, so you just shrink it a little so that it can fit. Okay, so it's useful. It's useful at times. Okay. But in this case, I don't want it to shrink to fit. I want it to wrap it. And then I don't mind just opening up my row a bit like that. Okay? So that it would fit the way that I want it to within my cell. Okay? And then right here, we have our merge and center feature. How does that work? Okay, so I'm just going to touch on merge and center, which is this right here. But you see we have merge across, merge cells, and merge cells. So right here, let's say that you want to do a header. Okay, if you want to do a header, you may want the header to start right here. Just as an example, it can start in the middle here, wherever you want your header to be. But just as an example, I'll do mine here. Now, when we decide we want to merge and center things, that means we're going to join cells together and then put in the center. And as we join those cells together, it's all going to become one cell. Let's demonstrate, okay? So let's say instead of having column A, B, C, I'm joining all three of those together. So let me highlight like that, and I'll click merge and center, because now I want all three of those columns I want all three of these columns and all three of these cells to be selected so I can merge and center what I need. Okay, so now that means cell 1A, 1B, 1C is now just one cell. It's no longer three, but one. Okay, and notice it's merged and centered. So as I click inside, it's right below the B, which is in the center. Okay, and now I can type in whatever it is that I want in there. Or I can type in basics as my header. From there, you can decide whether or not you want to, let's say, increase your text because it's a header, so you really do want it to stand out a bit. And then you can change your font. Then you can add a color. Then you could even change your orientation or your alignment, depending on what it is you want. Okay, and we'll get into all of that when we do our formatting. So that's how the merge and center feature works in brief. It joins rows that you select together and make them all one cell. Okay, so that's our merge and center feature. And that is our alignment group in brief. Okay? So join us on our next video as we talk about the number group. And if you have any questions, say so within the discussion. Okay? All right.